from their family.
450,000 kids were lost in the Biden
Mr. Secretary,
say a word
Mr.
about
Secretary,
Yep,
do
we
not
are
interrupt.
Don't you point your finger at me.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
This is a huge win for America, and the media is furious because the Supreme Court just restored common sense at the border. This is a huge win. The Supreme Court just handed down a major ruling that says something very simple, but apparently Washington and a lot of the radical leftists needed 9 justices to explain it. You cannot claim you have legally arrived in the United States when you are still standing on the other side of the border. That matters because for years, the entire border debate has been twisted into one emotional, empathetic guilt trip. We were told America had no right to control its own front door.
Fox News alert, key victories for the Trump administration and for the voters who wanted to firmly secure sovereignty at the border as the onslaught of illegal immigration has been stopped under Trump. The U.S. Supreme Court just decided the president does have the authority to end temporary deportation protections, or TPS. That's a program for millions of foreign nationals living in the United States.
Did you just hear that? The president now has the authority to do that? Guys, this is what we voted for. We were told enforcing the border was cruel. We were told that if someone showed up near the border, the American taxpayer, that's you, automatically owed them entry. You owed them processing. You owed them benefits, the $4,000 EBT cards. You owed them hearings. You owed them lawyers. And it was their constitutional right to stay here inside of our country while their court case was being processed or while it was trying to catch up. Well, the Supreme Court just said, not so fast, sucker.
The Department of Homeland Security was trying to end the TPS program for more than 6,000 Syrian and some 350,000 Haitian immigrants, along with those from other countries. Justices also decided that the administration can restart a policy allowing Customs and Border.
If you look at the images, look at all the women and children. Oh, wait, you don't see that. It's basically fighting aged men, which is not a coincidence considering what we're seeing go on in our country. There's a lot of children that are missing. There are apparently 170,000 that have been found and have been returned or sent to some level of family, maybe some custody. But that's where the problem is. And this is one of the reasons that I support everything that's happening there. Everybody is so worried about the children. Think of the children. Think of the children at the island. But nobody cares about the children that were coming through the southern border and being handed off. They were coming through the river.
Protection to curb the number of people that they let in who are seeking asylum at the border between the U.S. and Mexico. Both of those decisions went 6-3 in terms of how the justices voted. Let's dig in deeper. This was such a huge issue for voters. And
this was a massive issue for voters. This is exactly what I voted for. I wanted a secure border. I want secure elections, and I think the SAVE Act is on the cusp. And I also wanted some common sense back in Congress. And we're going to get there. I've got something I have to show you that is going to blow your mind. So let's take a little trip to Congress here. And we've got Stephen Miller weighing in on this. And Stephen Miller is one of, President Trump's closest advisors. He's one of the people that we like to see. He's also one of the people with the most common sense, which is why he's so hated by the left.
House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller. Stephen, it's good to see you here.
Thank you.
Let's start with these two. This feels like a big victory? Certainly ending that asylum process has got to be a big victory for the president.
Yes, these are both extraordinary victories, Will. In the case of TPS, or Temporary Protected Status, aka amnesty for Haitian migrants, this is a victory 10 years in the making, if you can believe it. In the first Trump administration, President Trump ended TPS for Haitian illegals and was frozen by the courts. The Biden administration came in, they flew Haitians right over the border by airplane, dumped them into American towns all over the country, particularly in Springfield, Ohio, destroying these tight-knit communities, and gave them all, again, this TPS, temporary protected status, which gives them unfettered access to welfare and other benefits in the United States. Trump ended that benefit again here in the second term, even though the statute says that it is judicially unreviewable, meaning Congress said the courts can't review it. Our rogue radical judges stymied that for the last 6.
Why would they bring so many Haitians and put them right in the center of America, in what I would call like rural America? This ruling, this case is much bigger than one immigration case. This is about whether the United States is still a sovereign nation. It is about whether our laws mean anything. It's about whether presidents have the authority to secure the border when the system is overwhelmed. And here's the part the media does not want to say out loud. This is not just a win for the Trump administration. This is a win for every American citizen who has been told to sit down, shut up, pay the bill, and accept chaos at the southern border as normal. So this is an article from the AP. Today we're going to break down what this court actually said, why the ruling matters, why the left is melting down over it, and why this could become one of the most important border victories of Trump's presidency and maybe seal his legacy. So I want you to see this. This is absolutely amazing. The way that they try to outline this.
The Supreme Court decided that the Trump administration acted within its authority when it ended temporary legal protections for immigrants from Haiti and Syria. But really, this decision could have a much bigger impact. It could affect all 1.3 million people from 17 countries who are covered by temporary protected status.
Now, they're saying only 1.7 million people from 17 countries. We know it's probably in the upwards of 25 to 30 million. We know that. But these are the ones that they're just going to narrow down and say that they sought asylum before they actually came across the border. Now, if you go to the Geneva Convention, go look that up. I urge you to do that. From the Geneva Convention, you're supposed to seek asylum in the nearest neighboring country, peaceful neighboring country. So how are we getting asylum seekers from like North Korea? How are we getting asylum seekers from like Tajikistan? How are we getting asylum seekers from 4,000 miles around the world when they should be seeking asylum in their nearest neighboring country?
TPS, which allows the Homeland Security Secretary to let people remain in the United States with work authorizations if they deem it unsafe for return due to a natural disaster.
You see that? Syria. Why are we getting asylum seekers from Syria? Why don't they seek asylum in Ukraine? Why don't they seek asylum in Russia or England or France or Germany or Belgium? Why do they need to come here from frickin' Syria or Mogadishu, Somalia? Why? Well, it's because it's been encouraged. It's because we, by bringing them here, not me personally, but there's a political party that relies on them for votes. And you know it as good as I do. I don't even want to say their name. It's very blue.
Like an earthquake or civil strife. The plaintiffs in this case said that the Trump administration failed to adequately consider conditions in Haiti and Syria, and in the case of the Haitians, that it acted with racial animus toward them. A 6-3 majority, the conservative majority, rejected those arguments. It's another example of how rapidly things have changed in this country on immigration. The Biden administration doubled the number of people covered under TPS, and
the Biden administration doubled the number covered. Now, I want you to look here at the images of the Supreme Court. Now, the three that voted against it, Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and the other clown right above me here. I'm not even going to say her name because she makes me so frustrated. These are the same three that can't define what a woman is, but yet they can vote to allow illegal migrants to come into our country. Now, the story gets better. The Supreme Court clears the way for the Trump administration to revive a restrictive policy for asylum seekers. The time is up. We don't need any more of these people. They're not sending their doctors and lawyers. They are sending military-age men just like this. And I'm sure some of them probably hate America, but yet they want to come here and, evolve, adapt, and become patriotic citizens. That's all they want, right? I mean, that's what we've been told. Now, a lot of these news outlets, this is the New York Slimes, they are freaking out over this as well, because obviously all these migrants that are coming in are subscribers, paid members, probably buying their newspapers in the thousands. Supreme Court expands the Trump's power over administration. It's not Trump's power. It's the American power. It is you and I. That is who the power is for. It's for us to say who we want coming into our country. And we sent a massive message to the world when we voted for the current president that we wanted our citizens to be put first. You probably all have some family members that could use a little extra scratch. But no, let's give these people $4,000 a month on their EBT cards. That's what we want. That's how this whole thing works. And these were two major decisions. You can see this here. Two major decisions. They were divided decisions. Yeah, both 6-3 that allow President Trump's aggressive crackdown on immigration to move forward, permitting the administration to expel hundreds of thousands. Let's get a mass expedition, let's get a massive expungement on aisle 3 and get them the heck out of here, because we don't need this. That should really upset you, because there's a lot of people that don't want this. And one of them is Senator John Thune out of South Dakota. And one of the absolute biggest patriots in America, Scott Presler, went to South Dakota, and he wanted to voice the opinion of the American people. And sadly, he was kicked out of this Republican Party meeting faster than John Thune would kick illegals out of our country. And I've got to show you this. Presler announced he plans to hire staff, rally donors for a potential 2028 Republican primary against John Thune. But only if Thune fails to pass the Save America Act by November 2026. Now, Scott Presler is probably one of the biggest American-loving patriots in America. I say biggest, I think he's about 6'5". The bill requires proof of U.S. citizenship, like a birth certificate, passport, to register for federal elections, plus photo ID to vote. It sounds radical, right? I mean, it sounds crazy. Well, Scott Presler went to South Dakota. He got into the party meeting, and this is one of the guys that didn't want Scott Presler involved.
Big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're posting this little piss and moan session on Facebook, so you just get the hell out of here. Thank you.
Ooh. You see how the grassroots are welcomed in Senate Majority Leader Thune's territory. Interesting, my friends. I don't think this is a good reflection of the South Dakota GOP. But I thank him for his honesty, though. What's your Matthew Bruner, Sergeant at Arms?
Matthew Bruner, Sergeant at Arms, there in South Dakota. That's where we're at right now. This is what we're seeing. This is how the GOP works in South Dakota. And I'm not sure about, this is how the Republican Party works in South Dakota. They kick out a patriot like Scott Presler, this guy here drinking the probably $400 a bottle of wine. And they kicked him out because all he wanted to do was go and, ask some questions about why John Thune is not pushing forward with the Save America Act. You've got everybody chiming in. Meet Matt Bruner, the arrogant a-hole who thought it was okay to treat Scott Presler like garbage at the South Dakota GOP. He told Scott, who had a ticket for the event, to get the hell out of here. I wish that, someone like John Thune would tell the illegals to get the hell out of here. But that's not going to happen. So we need to make this guy famous. We need to make this guy famous. This is who is representing the people in South Dakota. And I'm sure there's a lot of you watching that have friends or family that live there. He's living a pretty rough life to want to not allow Scott Pressler to go and voice the opinion of America. Now, in another heated little debate here, we had Mark Wayne Mullen get into a back and forth with Miss Delorio. They always have the glasses and the purple hair. I was expecting something, from the nose there. I'm going to show you this back and forth that they had.
3,900 children were separated from their families.
450,000 kids were lost during the Biden administration. You didn't say a word about
Mr. Secretary, do not interrupt.
Don't you point your finger at me. Don't
I
be a
will
hypocrite.
point my finger
Don't you be
at
a hypocrite
you.
then. Then you be as you should be as upset about the 450,000 kids that were lost. You didn't say a word about it. For 4 years, you never said a word.
Mr. Secretary.
Could you put him in his place for
don't yell at me.
You should
I'm
be
the
put in
good
your
guy.
place.
Mr. Secretary, if you would like 4 minutes for a closing statement when everybody's done, I'll give you that. But while members are on their 8 minutes, I need them to have their 8 minutes.
Mr.
started
Chairman,
my
I
comments.
appreciate that. My issue is that they say this for sound bites, and I'm not going to let them say
What
something
did
like
you
that.
do
That's not
just
true.
recently for sound bites? I sympathize with the 400.
We are going to have something resembling order here. The time is the ranking members. If you would like to respond later on, there are methods to do that, but it's not a who can talk louder into the mic.
It's not.
So you are recognized.
Thank you very much.
I will not let her
Mr.
sit there and lie and accuse something this ridiculous.
You know-
This is the legislative branch and it's my hearing, and so I'm going to try to some extent to control it moderately.
And do
Thank you.
not accuse me of lying. Do not.
Then don't.
I do not.
Mark Wayne Mullen out of Oklahoma. Wow. This was amazing to watch as Miss Deloro out of Connecticut tried to, basically just standing on the graves of a bunch of these children when it's convenient. And Mark Wayne Mullen wasn't having it. He called her out for exactly what she didn't do. She didn't give a damn during the Biden administration when 400,000 kids went missing. She didn't give a damn about that. Didn't say a word about it. But for some reason, now it's all Trump's fault. Now it's all the conservative movement's fault. It's all the Republicans' fault. That's exactly what's happening. Let's go here. The New York Post just came out with this article as well. They're confirming everything that we believe. Supreme Court rules Trump can turn back asylum seekers at the U.S. border in a major immigration win. They're going to be melting down. And it's about time that this scene here was actually enforced, because we know what happened down in Texas. Under the Democrat administration, they used forklifts to lift up the razor wire and allow more people in. So the Democrats are going to melt down. And I don't know how or what their plans are, but they continue to lead us to the plans. And it seems like that what they're going to do if they come back into power is they're going to pack the court right here behind me. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. They're going to make amendments to the Constitution. They will allow another massive wave of an invasion or a voting recruitment drive, which is basically what they've turned the southern border into for so long, but not so fast. And the lines here to get in need to be taken care of. The Supreme Court sides with Trump in this asylum case. And it's just so good to see that we're finally getting something done at the southern border. And this guy right here, Clarence Thomas, is getting the last laugh. And I'm not sure about you, but if you went back and watched that hearing, his confirmation hearing, when Joe Biden accused him of being a racist, I think he's getting to laugh last. Look at this. Haitians care for New York. Is it all starting to make sense now with the Mamdani voters and who he's actually placating, who he's trying to get into the country? I want to talk about one other thing here, and this is the Communist Control Act of 1954. And President Trump posted something just yesterday alluding to what's happening here. I'll show you this post here from the President of the United States. The communists are finally making their move. I've been waiting and preparing for this for a long time. It's easy to be a communist. All you have to do is say, I'll give you everything. That means you're taking it away from others that have earned it. Over thousands of years, that ideology has not worked. The game is on. Enjoy watching. He says at the very beginning, he's been waiting and preparing for this for a long time. You see a comment right above me here from Matt Morse, good friend on the show. If you look into what this Communist Control Act does, it's an act to outlaw the Communist Party to prohibit members of communist organizations from serving in certain representative capacities and for other purposes. It was enacted in 1954. I think that's right around the Eisenhower timeframe. It's right after World War II. Now, what does this mean for us as American citizens? Well, number one, it means that it's already been put into law. It means that the president can use this. It's a law that's been in place for, 72 years? Okay, 72 years. And I think the Trump administration's about to roll the carpet back out. I foresee multiple other Supreme Court decisions coming down. But whenever he already has the Communist Control Act of 1954 in place, which allows for the arrest, which allows for the banishment and the removal of communists inside of our government, I think the first place to start is some of these sanctuary cities. It looks like New York City has just, primary, the Democrat Party had these primary elections, and I think 3 avowed communists were elected to run as Democrat representatives. The Democrat Party is splitting right now. The Democrat Party is in a divide. There is the old Democrat Party that you thought you knew, and there is the new Democrat Party, which, in my opinion, is as close to communism as we have seen in this country. I know Reagan warned about it. I know Eisenhower warned about it. I know Kennedy warned about it. And now, once again, the President of the United States, President Trump, it's his turn to clean it all up, just like the 47 years that was avoided with Iran. Smash the like and subscribe button on your way out the door. I'll see you in the next one.